Welcome back to Norrath. Well, today's the big day, episode 50, and you know what that means. That's right, the Next World download is available in the video description for both Java and Bedrock versions. But I think instead of a Whistle Stop World Tour, we are going to instead do a normal episode, because what I want to do is show you a very cool place that you can go to today in the world if you choose to download it. And that is going to be through the wizard portal back there. We are going to the frozen continent of Velious to Kael Drakkal. Or is it Kael Drakkal? It's one of those, it's just names in EverQuest. Nobody really knows how they're supposed to be pronounced. So, everybody's going to have their own pronunciation of that. But of course, we're starting off here in the plains of Karana, our very familiar starting point. We're not always going to start here, but for today we are, because, wizard portal. This is the only way, currently, to get to the frozen continent of Velious. There is going to be some other ways where you're going to have a gnomish submarine that is going to be going underneath the frozen ocean at some point. But that's going to be a little while off. I haven't even built the dock facilities or the gnomish civilization or any of that, so it's going to take a little while before that's ready. So we want to take this button here and travel ourselves to Velious. Alright, I hope you dressed warmly. As you can see, we have arrived safely on the frozen continent of Velious. We're currently in the zone called the Great Divide. And it's I think it's called that way because it's sort of like it's a bit of a watershed between the north and the south, and also the east and the west. It's a really central place, but it's like a very high icy plain as well. I mean, you can see it's so cold here. The trees have frozen solid. I mean, it's really cold on Velious. And one of the new things we've noticed, we of course got the Dragon Spire over there. We're not going to be using that today, because we are going to be taking a look at the city of Kael Drakkal itself, which is not this way. Traveling up this way into the mountains, this goes to the dwarven city of Thurgaden, way off over there. Maybe we will go over there and take a look at that in the next episode. Spoilers. But for today, we want to go to Kael Drakkal, which is going to be over there. But this is not the way we want to go. There are a couple of ways to approach the city, and I want to, of course, approach from the most dramatic point possible. And that's going to be over this way. So we're going to follow the road actually out of the Great Divide. We'll take a look at the other entrances to the city later in the episode, so you can see what they all are. But this is one of these roads. I haven't optimized any of the roads on Velious with half slabs yet, so we're gonna have to jump. And let's go on foot for a little ways, because I think you remember I remarked previously when we were taking a look at permafrost, how it's nice to be able to walk around the world. We don't always want to. We don't always want to fly around just everywhere we go. I mean, we'll do that later in the episode, but let's get a sense of just how big everything is, and the best way to do that is to travel on foot for a little ways. I think we have now entered the what? I think these are the Eastern Wastes, so-called. I can't help but terraform the road a little bit as we go. So-called because, well, frozen continent, a lot of lots and lots of waste everywhere. I mean, it's still so cold here. The trees are frozen solid, so let's travel a little faster down the road, though. We can at least fly down the road, because all this kind of pretty much looks the same. We want to go this way until we get to another. Cleaning up the road as I go until we get to another arch right down here. And what these are, these Doric arches are actually boundary markers. They denote the edges and claim territory of the frost giants. You can see this is a very serious boundary marker. And beyond this particular one here, of course, we have over there the Rygor Orc Castle. that we've seen in a previous episode. I forget which number that was. Of course, remember the Crystal Caverns is underneath the eastern waste out here. And it's a little warmer over there, you know. We can see that the trees aren't frozen solid. They are covered with snow, but they're not frozen solid like they are, like they are over here. And we want to take this road going this way. Now, there's another road that goes from this one right there, which we came that way. But there's another one that goes up that way to another entrance to Kale. But that's not the one we want to go. We want to go this way across the eastern waste. I mean, you can see, you know, it's just frozen land with not even frozen trees anymore. It's just a vast icy expanse. Nice view of the Rygor Orc Castle over there, though. A few more orc things have been added. You can see we've got, you know, a couple of towers over there. Orcs like to claim their territory with towers. The Frost Giants like to do it with a little bit more style, with these stylized arches and everything. And of course, once you see one of these, the others are all the same. Of course, they're just copied and pasted. Put down at the expanse of the outer expanse of the Ice Giants' territory. Of course, this road over here leads off to the coast down into Orcish territory. But we want to turn and go this way. Oh goodness, that road needs a lot of fixing. We want to turn and go this way around the snow drifts and everything. And follow the road here. Let's just land for a minute. Get a nice sense of the terrain around here. We don't really do that too much. I think it's a very nice and atmospheric place here. It reminds me a bit of Skyrim in some areas. Even though Velious is a southern frozen continent, so it's not in the north, but it would be more of the barbarian areas on Antonica. But the entirety of Velious is, of course, frozen, so we can get a good sense of it. Oh, we do see a little bit of Kale over there off in the distance, our destination for today. Of course, I'm taking the long way to build suspense. Is it working? Because I think as far as city entrances go, the one for Kale is, it's pretty good. I really think you're going to enjoy it as soon as we walk our way over there. And, oh, well, if Trydar can stop meddling with the roads as he goes, you know, just removing some debris. Like, all these things need to be smoothed out and put down with half slabs and all that. But, you know, that's a project for future me. Today, we are, of course, coming to a fork in the road. We don't want to go this way. That's going to take us off to the ice-clad ocean. Over here, we want to go this way. Ooh. We can see some interesting things coming into view. Very, very interesting. In fact, I'm just going to kind of look down a little bit and clear a few more blocks off the road as I go. Because I want this to be, you know, as wrong block. As epic as possible when we do the reveal. So we're just going to keep our head down until we get down further into the crevice. You can see we are lowering down a couple of blocks as we go each time. Right here, and that is because we are entering down into one of the very deep scars of Velious. This road's going to be fun to do. Right here. But if we I think pause for a moment and then look up. Oh, my goodness. We have some very serious walls coming into view, just like you would expect from the Frost Giants. Of course, you remember, so far we've only seen a partially ruined, you know, city of Bladeholm up there at Frostcrypt and Permafrost from last time. But now This is a fully fledged giant civilization at the height of its power. This is really the only enclave of the frost giants that were not that were not cursed in various and sundry ways. In ages past, they managed down here on Valas. It's like the only enclave of the frost giants that managed to escape the curse, and they've been doing quite well for themselves down here. I mean, you know, frost giants. I mean, they quite obviously love the cold, and we got plenty of that here on Velious. So I think they're going to enjoy that. We do have something interesting there. Wonder what that is. Well, I guess we'll find out in a moment. Now, of course, this city is, of course, a work in progress. It's not a finished city. It's finished on the exterior, but don't look too closely at the details. I'm still working on it. You know, like with all our cities in Norrath, there are kind of works in progress, but I wanted to do, this is it's still one of the more complete cities anyway. Now, as we just get a little closer, we can see that we are now very deep down into one of the scars of Velious. In fact, the dragons are quite upset about this, because they keep trying to destroy this city, because of, well, you know, dragons, they assume all the scars belong to them only. So, you know, when you turn up and build something like this here, they are, of course, you know, not impressed. They want you gone. But, of course, the frost giants have, well, you know, I mean, look at this. You can see they've proven very stubbornly dug in, really. And the dragons just aren't able to get rid of them. Mostly because the dragons are kind of in an old, weakened state, really. They're not... they're not really the dragons of old, per se, so, you know, they don't have all their old ancient powers and everything. And the frost giants are pretty much a match for them. It's kind of a stalemate, really. The upper hand switches every now and then, but down here, which I don't have at the moment, where there's going to be a door, you know, with a gate, with a diagonal gate. That's why it's not here yet. I haven't built a diagonal gate yet. But there's going to be here, you can see, we have this nice, well, you know, Minecraft. You can tell which ones are the straight ones with the towers here. And in between them, we have these 45-degree diagonal walls going. This is a brand new detail. We have not seen this before. Well, you know, unless you follow my Instagram, you've seen it there. But we have not seen this in a video up close and personal. And as you can tell, this is it's really the messing with the road again. It's really the Greek Doric walls, but I've reused the patterns here to make some diagonals, and you're going to see that as we go into the city itself. So let's get just, you know, all the way down here, and we'll just pretend right here that there is a door. You know, a city gate, and we may as well just break our way inside. Actually, I'm going to excavate this out whenever I build the wall, the gate into it. But the first thing we're going to see as we come through the gate is very, very interesting things. Lots of things to check out. We can of course see a very prominent temple there with a large dome in it, and a very expensive acrotarium up there at the top. Appears to be made entirely of solid diamonds. Very expensive. But it looks like in this first little district down here in the city, we have, you know, because the frost giants are rather defensive in nature. I mean, obviously, you know, from all the walls and everything. And not only just the one layer of walls. I mean, we have walls going right up all the way to pretty much the top. Right there. In fact, I think that up there pretty much scrapes the build height. It might. I don't remember actually. I think it does. It's pretty close anyway. But you can see down here we are actually pretty low down. in the world at the moment. There is more more down as we get down there into the deeper parts of the Scar and the Awakening Lands on the other side of the city. But we'll take a look at that when, you know, whenever we get there. But let's just take our time and kind of walk through and kind of sink let everything sink in. Never mind that over there. That's one of those wonderful Minecraft lighting errors. It's not actually black. But of course, you can see here the ice giants appear to build only in the Doric order, because that's what all the pilasters are and the columns, and I mean the big central temple there. I'm going to take a look at that closer. There's no interior on it yet. There will be someday though. But since we're down here, we can see we do have a number of large passageways we can take a look at. All of these need doors put in them, but I don't currently have them in there yet. But if we want to take a look inside some of these, we can see here, if you have seen my Parthenon tutorial, you will recognize that actually this entire city is made up of bits and pieces of recycled Parthenon. And of course the interior down here is no different. I mean, this is essentially the main chamber of the Parthenon, just with the larger columns on the inside. That's all it is. Of course, we do have, as you can see, some smaller chambers. Over here we can explore, at least I think we can explore them. Yep, we can. And these rooms are going to be familiar from Frost Crypt and everything. They're basically the same types of rooms, only there's more of them. And there's more of them. There's certainly bigger rooms here in Kale than you're going to find anywhere else. So let's just take a look in a couple of them. I'll let you explore them whenever you want to download the city for yourself. Of course, back here we do have a hallway, you know, more rooms branching off down there, there, and there. But I will leave that to you to explore at your leisure. We will actually, at the end of the episode, we will dip into spectator mode and I'll give you a view of everything that you can see down here. But for the moment, you know, let's just take our time and explore the lower levels of the city. And we will slowly work our way up with the cherry on top up there. But the only other place we can go down here, it's going to be right through this very large pillared hallway. In fact, let's just land and walk through it. Very impressive. It looks like it connects over here to another large room. And I think this is actually at least, I don't know if it's it's either going to be the throne room or at the very least an audience chamber of the king of the Frost Giants, which is of course going to have his throne, you know, sitting up there on that stepped platform somewhere. And of course this room is just the interior of the Parthenon ripped out of the building and shoved underground. I need to put some torches up there to light all that up. But if we want to go back through this way, we can see this connects out into a more built and furnished plaza area, with of course a fountain and everything. And oh well, you know, velious, like you would expect. You know, so some of the water is just freezing right in front of us. It's that cold. Now we can see here we are on the other side of our large temple up there. We have a number of other doors around here we can go in. I think there's actually just that one. It's actually this over here. This is going to be the gate. Well, you know, I haven't built it yet. But this is going to be the eventual gate that goes out into the Awakening Land. It goes out into the Awakening Lands over here. This is the most lush area in all of Velious actually, because this particular crack opens up into some deep, sort of like a volcanic steam vents and everything down here. I haven't installed those yet either, but just imagine we got some, you know, some steamy jungle type of atmosphere down here and everything with that. Otherwise, Velious is quite frozen, but actually this, I think, is one of the main reasons Kale is built here, because that you can get quite a lot of food from this area too, so you want to have your major capital, you know, right beside your main source of food, right? So I think that is why that Kale is built here and not elsewhere in Velious. And if I can find my way back to the city, it's very tangled. Find my way back right through here. Of course, it enters into the other side, the other main entrance of the city. We can see we have some smaller subsidiary temples flanking the large one, pretty much of the same design of the very large Doric order. A couple of little pavilions down here as well, just for decoration, really. But when this city is finished, I mean, you have to imagine that this is also like the trade district. You can imagine there's going to be quite a lot of commerce going on down here. There's going to be stalls against the walls and everything, you know, all that good stuff in time anyway. And then over here, we just have some smaller rooms of the same types with more doors in them over there for you to go check out. But if we want to ascend to the next level in the city, I still haven't built that in yet either. There's going to need to be stairs and passages and everything. We can see that the city itself is actually built in a series of terraces leaning in to the sides of the scar in Velious. Right here. So all of these walls being defensive also serves as a secondary purpose as retaining walls to create large elevated platforms for all of the residential housing that we have over here, where all of the frost giants themselves would live. And of course, none of these buildings have complete interiors yet. That's a project for future me, but we will get around to it one of these days. That's going to be, you know, probably one of the last things that gets done in Norrath, all the interiors of all these cities. Another fountain over here. And of course, here is the entrance we came in at. Two large towers. Let's get a bit more altitude here. You can see we've got this ground area down here, the lowest area. Then we've got this middle area here. And then we've got a third terrace up here with a lot more residential houses. And of course, in the middle one here is where all the important public buildings are. Of course, we've got the Grand Agora there. And right in the middle here, we've got the main frost giant temple. Right here. And if memory serves in EverQuest, this should actually be the Temple of Ralos Zek, with the two smaller temples over here being temples to Talon and Valen Zek. Right there, respectively, that one and that one. This big one is just a solid hunk of stone. It doesn't have an interior yet, but you know, you can imagine what sort of interior I'm going to put in it. From the exterior, though, it looks quite nice. I think it's done in a very large-scale Doric order, and I can tell you that making the round entablature out of the Doric order was quite challenging to do with all the triglyphs and metapiece and everything. You can see down over there. Let's get a closer look here at the dome. Of course, we can see we got some detail right here with the waxed cut copper and the gold ore and everything. And then up here we got the cupola at the top. And then a giant diamond acroterion up here on top of it. And since we're up here, let's take a look down. So over there's the Waking Lands we explored a moment ago. The Trade District all the way down there. My goodness, that's really, really far down. And you know, it's just that's watch your step. You know, you don't want to fall here. You'll be a goner for sure. That's why we have all the safety railings and everything. You know, safety first. But we can see here kind of a better view of all the terracing. And all of the diagonal walls, actually. We have a mix of straight and diagonal walls here to perform the terracing. You know, we can see we've got the diagonal walls down there, obviously, but we've got another set back here and a couple of panels over there, serving as retaining walls and everything to keep the icy avalanches out of the city and everything. Actually, let me get as much altitude as possible here so you can get a good view of the entire city. I don't know if I can fit it all into range. I'll try. Yeah, I think that's about as good as we can get. And of course, we've got the Temple of Valas there in the middle, the two smaller temples, Talon and Valen there. We've got the Grand Agora there, and all of the royal structures and everything are underground, which we'll be taking a look at. Well, we can see over here, this is where we came in at. All the way down there, you can see the road goes deep down, just straight down into this particular scar on velious. And hits the city walls there, and then there's one of the trade districts back here. And then the various tunnels we can walk through to get to the other trade district over there. Another similar type of gate over here for the Waking Lands. But as I remarked, there are a number of other ways we can get into the city. Over here, this is a road that comes in from the Great Divide that we came through. If I can get a load in, we can just barely over there in the misty mists see the Great Wizard Spires. And of course, if we took the road from the Great Wizard Spires there through the divide, we would come to, if I can land, we're really high up. If I can land here, this would take us over here. This needs to be cleaned up a little still, with the road through here, but through this a secondary gate, and we can see the city coming into view from this angle, down in the Waking Lands a little bit. Very nice view, I have to say. I tried to make the towers sort of frame the central dome and everything from all the approaches, so that we could get, you know, I mean, it's the central temple in the city. We want to accentuate it as much as possible. But if we want to be very careful as we travel this road here, you know, if you fall off this one, you're pretty much a goner. You're straight down into the deep scar on velious down there. We go around. Oh, I haven't dug the tunnel for it yet, but right here, where this road abruptly ends, there's going to be a little tunnel that is going to go through that way, through the walls, and it's going to come out, I think it should come out somewhere around there. No, I'm wrong. Yeah, here it is. It's going to come out here, right here on the other side of this gate, which will lead us into one of the uppermost levels of Kale here. We see another gate on our left. Nice view of the temple dome there on the right. And this is actually a gate that's going to be coming in, another one, from the eastern waste out here. Remember, that's one of those arches that we saw over there. Pause here a moment. I don't know if the... Well, over there somewhere is the Rygor Orc Keep. Everything. But we do have this road that we didn't take that goes straight over this way. And, oh, some of the trees are melting. It's going to go this way, past this little guard tower here. I do have a little guard tower here, by the way. There is, you know, it's an entrance to a small underground section. Let's just just mop that up over here. And then we have a secondary gate. Do you remember I talked about the ice giant emphasis on defense? So that's why we have multiple gates. We have that first gate and then the second one. And likewise over there we had that first tower and then this second gate here before you get into the city. I mean, you know, when you're under fairly constant low-level attack from the dragons, you learn to be very defensive and dig in with your city and everything. But there is another way to get into the city too, from deeper in the eastern waste. Let's say we're in the city and we want to leave, but we don't want to go out the main entrance. We want to go again kind of out the side gate. So we would want to go this way and up this little road, and of course we come to another more serious looking defensive gate here, which isn't opened up yet. So we're going to have to hop over it. And this takes us into one of the mountain pass roads here in the mountains of the eastern wastes. Here, I don't think we spent enough time looking at mountains, so we're just going to kind of fly down over it this way. And of course, we have a third serious-looking gate structure down here, which guards the approach to the road that goes to Kale. And if we look out over here, we can see the icy plain and the road that goes over that, and the southernmost extent of the ice giant domain down that way. And further down that way is going to be where Sleeper's Tomb is. That's dragon territory. Down that way. There should be another arch there too. Down these roads. So every place you either cross one of those arches, you're either crossing into or out of ice giant territory. As you explore around. Let's just land for a moment here. But yeah, this is sort of like a defensive outpost, because you know I talked about their emphasis on defense, and the ice giants want to make sure that nobody is going to march an army around the eastern waste and come up the back door and get into Kale, because you would have to go through 1, 2, 3 defensive gates, all heavily armed and guarded, before you would get into the city and everything. Let's see. So I think for the last pass around the city today, what we're going to do is we're going to land down here, and now we're going to go into spectator mode, because there's all these underground sections of the city that I want to show you. All right, we are in spectator mode, so let's fly back here and go into the King's throne room. And if we kind of, you know, keep flying through that, there's a chamber, private chamber behind that. Well, we've got another door here, and if we just clip through that, we can see that leads us off into various passageways and chambers. Large chambers of various sizes. You can see we have dug very deeply into the walls back here. These are just the chambers that are dug in on the lowest level. Behind this, I think there's probably going to be another level. On the secondary level up here, there's not enough space underneath the mountains for a third one. But we can fit more in down here than I have currently. But I do want to add more down in here. But we've taken a look at some of these chambers before. Like last time when we looked at Frostcrypt and Permafrost, it's the exact same modules and building types and everything for those. So, if I just pick up a little speed here, we can see that over here we have what would essentially be the Royal Treasury chambers. Right down there. I mean, they need to be filled up with, you know, actual treasures, but Somewhere down here you can imagine will be the private living chambers and everything of the king and the royal family and all their retinue and all the scribes and everything that goes along with that. We can see just how deep the scar goes down here. Pretty much goes down as far as it can go. There's just a couple of blocks left between that and the bedrock bottom of the world. So let me lower down a little bit more. I think, yeah, that'll be good. So we can see underneath here, we have this large room above me. It branches off into a couple of chambers. Several large chambers. And then off into a corridor with more chambers over here. Of course, they've all got the etho redstone doors. That's just a standard door that I use pretty much throughout Norrath. It's not going to work in Bedrock, by the way. So when you come here in Bedrock, all those doors are going to be broken. There's nothing I can do about it. It's redstone mechanics. But yeah, you can see here, Kale is pretty much like, well, if I can indulge in a very cold pun, it's a bit like an iceberg, in that you can see a lot of it above ground, but underground, of course, there is a whole lot more for you to walk around and randomly explore. Of course, all these rooms currently are just empty, but they will eventually be filled up with all sorts of things as we flesh out Kale into a more lived-in type of city. But I think we have had a rather long episode today because this is a pretty big city, and there was a lot to see and everything. I hope you have enjoyed today's tour of Velious and Kael Drakkal. And do remember, of course, it's episode 50, so the World Download version 1.4 is available for download in the video description for both Java and Bedrock versions, and you can come here and see this city. It's going to be included in the download today, and I will also include the Chateau texture pack along with that too, so you can get all the roof colors looking right and everything as well. But while today we have taken a look at the very finest example of a giant civilization to exist on Norrath, I think next time we are going to head over and take a look at the Coldane Dwarven city of Thurgoden. So I hope you enjoyed the download, and I will see you next time.